With a WWE star announcing their retirement and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Talking about Mercedes Money's debut for New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom. Dax Harwood, who was backstage at the event, said on his podcast, "I know how she was feeling. She was proud, nervous, excited, scared, all of the emotions, you know? She hits this finishing move and nobody knows what that was. Nobody knows how it felt, but how proud she was in that moment and how nervous she was walking down the aisle. Like, everyone can relate to that, and I know that she was so proud of herself because she did it her way. She stood up for what she believed in. She stood up for what she thought was right, and she was able to achieve probably the thing she's dreamt about the longest." Touching on his debut match for WWE, Dominik Mysterio revealed on Keeping It 100 that actually it was before I went on contract was the payday that took me by surprise the most, because I was getting paid per show. I did SummerSlam without being on contract, so I got paid for that pay-per-view. We were in the middle of negotiations, so it was all kind of being handled at the time. But in good faith, I was like, yeah dude, I'll do it. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, so I jumped on it. But after that SummerSlam and that following, because I did SummerSlam and then Monday Night Raw, and then that following week, we did Payback when I tagged with my dad for the first time, like back to back. So I got 2 pay-per-view checks and a couple TV checks in one sitting, and then that's when I was like, oh this is pretty crazy. Pitching for Triple H to sign a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Booker T said on his Hall of Fame podcast, "I said Nick Aldis, he could make an impression. You know, people talk about, I said Nick Aldis is past his prime. And I said that because Nick Aldis is not 25 to 35. That's when you make your most money in this business, right? As far as making your name from 25 to 35, Nick Aldis is just making it to the big time if he was to come to WWE at 36 years old. That right there is past his prime. Can he make a difference? Can he make some good money? Oh hell yeah, sign him up." During a WWE live event, Seth Rollins brawled with Austin Theory in the crowd. Here's the video. With actors playing The Undertaker and Steve Austin making an appearance on Young Rock, fans would take to social media to share their thoughts. NBC and The Rock did Undertaker so dirty. Taker when he first saw who's playing him. Well, he's a big guy with long dark hair, no one will even notice. Casting director should be locked up. Stone Cold and The Undertaker from Wish. With Jay White expected to be leaving New Japan after his contract expires in the near future, Dave Meltzer noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Fightful reported that Jay White's contract is coming due and that both AEW and WWE are interested in him. White currently lives in Orlando. He has a loser leaves town match with Hikuleo set for the February 11th show in Osaka. In 2018, when AEW was being formed, White was asked about his contract status since he was a guy that there was interest in, since he was very good and people in AEW worked with him in New Japan and ROH. At the time, White said he was under contract for 7 more years. Obviously, that time frame doesn't add up if he's available now. The story reported that WWE was the favorite to get him, but it wasn't a done deal, and technically neither side are, as of yet, unable to legally approach him. Giving an interesting update on the tag team of Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, it was said in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there has been some notice that the name Banger Bros for the tag team of Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Evidently, there is a porn company called Bang Bros. If the name changes, that would be the reason, although we haven't been told the name is changing, just that there is an awareness of that. Recalling the situation with Edge and Lita's affair, as Edge was married and Lita was dating Matt Hardy, Bruce Pritchard said on Something to Wrestle, Edge and Lita at this time were going on record in every interview since and say that they really felt like they had been alienated in the locker room and that the locker room had turned on them. Do you remember any sort of situation like that when you came back after he was gone? You know, let's go back to the whole Johnny Ace thing, okay? I do believe Johnny's take on that, and I'm sure that there was probably a feeling that Matt airing his dirty laundry and Matt being emotional and going public with everything probably didn't help his cause, and I'm sure that Johnny probably had several conversations with him. I was not privy to the conversations between Matt and Johnny, but that wouldn't surprise me. Okay, and as far as Adam and Lita kind of being ostracized a little bit, yes, there was. I think guys that looked at it, you know, the bro code, and felt that not cool. You know, Matt's at home, but at the same time, look, I'm not gonna take sides here. Life happens sometimes, and as you say, you know, they're on the road. They're in the car for many hours every single night in between towns. Happens. I'm saying, right? Not saying it's wrong. It's just life. Life happens sometimes. And I dare say in the end, as we all sit here today, everything worked out, you know, pretty good on all sides, you know, on all fronts, but it sucked at the time going through it on both sides of it. And so you fast forward a little bit, you know, Heyman does his stuff and the Matt freaking Hardy comment, and the audience, you know, the audience is intelligent, man. They know, you know, they read the crap. Fans are doing the "you screwed Matt" chants, and it's one of those situations that I always would say to people, you know, talent can't be denied, right? And if it's there, you know what's there. So there was a groundswell of, man, we want Matt Hardy, the real life story that was going on behind the scenes was now taking place in front of the cameras, and we've only got, you know, 2/3 of this trilogy here. So you're sitting there going, okay, do you just ignore it? You know, when the crowd hijacks? In a clip posted to his Instagram, Nature Boy Ric Flair can be seen partying with the likes of Mike Tyson and Charlie Sheen.
Oh my God, no, the man.
On his podcast, Bill Simmons revealed that a Vince McMahon docu-series from Netflix is going to be made. As he said, The Rock was going to be at WrestleMania in LA. With all this upheaval and all this stuff happening, let's say they did try to go private and try to sell it to the Saudis. The Rock's going to be at WrestleMania. This is going to dramatically change their business. There are things that they won't be able to get away with, not to mention Vince hasn't really spoken publicly about all the allegations and the NDAs that he signed and just all that stuff. We haven't heard him talk about it. He can say, I took a break. We probably won't hear him talk about it. That's why I feel like he's coming back to sell it and then he's out. He probably just wants to cash in. I think it really probably did bother him though that things were going so well without him. Think about that. He's had this thing. I'm working on this massive docu-series right now about him, which is obviously that keeps evolving. This guy has been doing this since 1976. This is his. This was a local promotion that he blew up into a whole thing, and I think he honestly kind of lost it that it was doing well without him. You have something for 5 decades and then, oh, it's gonna fall apart now. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Dana White. No, actually, it's not going to fall apart. It's doing better. Speaking about her in-ring style changing after her initial career-ending injury, Saraya said during a stream on Twitch that, yes, I have to be more careful. I have to be more selective with what moves I can take, but luckily the producer that we have at AEW, BJ Whitner, he also has the same injury as me. With him currently the favorite to win the Royal Rumble, this was said about Cody Rhodes. Sources familiar with the situation confirmed to Fightful Select that not only is Cody Rhodes preparing for his return, he's been at the WWE Performance Center to prepare. Cody Rhodes and his big-ass bus were both spotted at the Performance Center in late December, as were members of his family and team. On Smack Talk, Dutch Mantel touched on the possibility of WWE being sold, where he noted, I thought Saudi Arabia always had the #1 seed, I guess you could say. Then you have the usual suspects, Comcast, Netflix, and HBO and Amazon. You know, who we didn't hear about though was The Rock. We never heard The Rock was in the running. Another one that has been added is Tony Khan from AEW, but I discount that because I don't think he can come up with that type of money, even though his father is a billionaire several times over. Staying on the topic of Tony Khan potentially owning WWE, Eric Bischoff said this about it on his 83 Weeks podcast. Acquiring WWE that's a big, giant move. I don't see it. Now, could it happen? Sure, anything is possible. But if you really think about it, does the Khan enterprise have the experience, knowledge, infrastructure, ability to run a company as complex as WWE? They may be in the same business, but they don't live and play in the same universe. As Vince McMahon is back as the chairman of WWE, it is believed that he could be returning to Monday Night Raw for an appearance, with Mike Johnson of PW Insider writing, "No one knows what Vince will do but Vince. The T-Rex has escaped the pin. However, if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet he appears in some fashion on the 30th anniversary of Raw on January 23rd in Philly." Taking to Twitter to announce her retirement from pro wrestling, NXT UK star Jinny would write, "After a long time away due to an injury, I've made the decision to hang up my fashionable boots. Thank you for all the memories. I'll remember them forever. Every journey has an end, but in life, every ending is just a new beginning. I'm excited about what's next." And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.